This evening, the Jewish community is in mourning and on edge after a fatal shooting outside the Capitol Jewish Museum in downtown Washington, D.C.
The shooter understood they were here for peace. Would he have still shown up? Guns are so silencing, and violence, it doesn't solve anything. It doesn't speak. It just ends conversation.
Embassy staff members Yaron Lashinsky and Sarah Lynn Milgram were killed. We have learned the two were soon to be engaged, and Yaron had plans to propose just next week. Sarah received her master's from American University's School of International Service in 2023. The shooting happened last night around 9:30. The suspect has been identified as 30-year-old Elias Rodriguez, reportedly from Chicago. Witnesses say they heard him chant "Free Palestine" before he was arrested. The FBI now investigating the case as a hate crime, and D.C. leaders, including Mayor Muriel Bowser, have condemned it as an act of anti-Semitic terror. Thank you for joining us on WUSA 9 News at 4 and on WUSA 9 Plus. I'm Simone D'Alba. This evening, we are bringing you team coverage, breaking down what we know about the suspect's past, where the investigation stands, and how the Jewish community is standing together tonight. We begin with our Rafael Sanchez Cruz.
Within the next hour, we're expecting an update from Mayor Muriel Bowser, as well as D.C. Police Chief Pam Smith, the FBI, and interim U.S. Attorney for D.C. Jeanine Pirro. Today, FBI Director Kash Patel calling last night's deadly shooting a, quote, act of terror, as well as targeted anti-Semitic violence. Now, right now, we know the FBI is investigating alleged writings that are thought to have been authored by the suspected shooter, Elias Rodriguez of Chicago. FBI Deputy Director Dan Bonino saying on social media they're aware of the writings, but did not go into detail about their contents or validity. Bonino also said Rodriguez was interviewed at around 1 this morning. Police say that around 9 last night, Rodriguez allegedly opened fire as a group of people were leaving an event being held at the Capitol Jewish Museum on 3rd Street Northwest. That's near D.C. Police headquarters and the FBI field office. The event was being hosted by the American Jewish Committee. Yaron Lashinsky and his girlfriend Sarah Milgram were identified by Israeli officials as the victims of the deadly attack. Video captured by an eyewitness appears to show Rodriguez yelling "Free, free Palestine" as he's taken into custody inside the museum. D.C. investigators say Rodriguez was seen pacing back and forth outside the museum prior to the shooting, but police said last night they had no intelligence to indicate that he was a threat or that he planned to carry out the alleged attack. Now, today we're expecting to learn more about why Rodriguez was even in D.C. and the motive. As those details become available, we'll of course bring them live to you here in downtown D.C. Rafael Sanchez Cruz, back to you.
All right, Rafa, thank you. Meanwhile, we are learning more about the alleged shooter as investigators are searching for a motive. Our chief investigative reporter, Eric Flack, is digging into that part of the story. Flack, it appears this man was really ramping up his rhetoric in the days leading up to last night's shooting.
Simone, that is what we're finding. In fact, just yesterday, the alleged shooter called for violence against Israelis in retaliation for the war in Gaza. As FBI agents searched Elias Rodriguez's Chicago home, his social media page lashed out at the American government for not doing enough to stop Israeli strikes on Palestinians during the Gaza war. Just hours before Wednesday night murders of 2 Israeli embassy workers, a multi-page message titled "Escalate for Gaza, Bring the War Home" was posted on an X account CBS News has linked to Rodriguez. This is the alleged shooter's LinkedIn page, as confirmed by his employers, the American Osteopathic Association and the American Osteopathic Information Association, which represents the alternative medicine industry. Thursday, that group issued a statement which read in part, "We were shocked and saddened to learn that an AOIA employee has been arrested as a suspect in this horrific crime. We stand ready to cooperate with the investigation in any way we can. We extend our deepest sympathy to the victims' loved ones, wishing them peace, comfort, and strength during this unimaginably difficult time." When he was arrested, Rodriguez was dressed in a blazer, slacks, and button-down shirt. A woman at the scene told CBS This Morning she and her friend tried to comfort the alleged shooter in the confusing aftermath, thinking he was a bystander.
He was covered in rain and just looking really distressed and scared. And we were comforting him because we thought that he was just somebody out in the street looking for a safe place to stay because he heard some gunshots. And even one of my friends asked him, "Can I get you some water? Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, that'd be great."
Offered him water in response to social media chatter that Rodriguez was associated with a group called the Party for Socialism and Liberation. The organization issued a statement denying any ties, posting on X this morning. "We reject any attempt to associate the PSL with the DC shooting. Elias Rodriguez is not a member of the PCL. He had a brief association with one branch of the PSL that ended in 2017. Simone, much more to be learned in the hours and days ahead.
And trying to sort through fact versus what's being posted on social media, Flack, which I know is what you've been doing for us, and we certainly appreciate it.
You got it.
Thank you. Meanwhile, we're also learning more about the young couple that was killed last night. Sarah Milgram and Yaron Lashinsky were set to be engaged. Both of them work for the Israeli embassy. Our John Duran has been outside the museum all day where people are remembering the lives that were just senselessly taken. John, what are people saying?
It's Simone, and one thing I've seen today is people stopping by a set of bushes just outside the museum, dropping pieces of paper on those bushes with handwritten messages on them for the victims. Some leaving flowers, some lighting candles in memories of the victims. But this community is outraged over these senseless killings. They're determined to press on in the victims' memory. Where the unimaginable happened less than a day ago is now a place for remembrance. Song and prayer help bring broken hearts and angry voices together.
And if you're not enraged, you should be. And if you're not brokenhearted, you ought to be.
Sarah Milgram and Yaron Lashinsky were shot and killed outside the Capitol Jewish Museum where they were attending an event. According to the American Jewish Committee, Milgram was from Overland Park, Kansas, and received a master's degree from American University in 2023. Lashinsky was born in Germany, but moved to Israel at a young age. Both working for the Israeli embassy, and both ready to begin a life together.
These were two young, beautiful people. Yaron and Sarah planned to be engaged next week in Jerusalem. Yaron bought a engagement ring this week. He was taking his soon-to-be bride to meet his parents, who live just outside of Jerusalem. Their murder will not be in vain.
And their memory will not be forgotten.
I left a sign that says, may we find each other in peace.
Jenna Hopp is one of many who felt compelled to be here.
If the shooter understood they were here for peace, would he have still shown up? Guns are so silencing, and violence, it doesn't solve anything.
In addition to the U.S. ambassador to Israel, I've also seen Maryland Congressman Jamie Raskin out here, as well as D.C. Council member Brooke Pinto, both paying their respects. A very, very busy corner right now at 3rd and F Streets downtown. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, John, thank you. We appreciate you showing us some of the somber mood and what people had to say after this really tragic event. Thank you. We'll have much more on this story coming up on the news at 6:30, including a closer look at the impact of this shooting on the local Jewish community. That show will be streaming live only on WUSA 9+. You can download it and watch for free anytime.